What is up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Market Marauders, beating the market one trade at a time. All right, hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas. Hope everybody's able to spend time with their families. I know I was able to some here, so we'll give it a couple minutes or like a minute. Let some more people join in, and then I'm going to be getting started. Let's get that set up. But yeah, I hope everybody had a fantastic break. Um, Trading will begin again on Monday, so we'll be looking forward to that. There'll be a lot of crazy moves going on, especially with the stimulus stuff going on. So, gonna be looking for some of those things going on in the news with stimulus. A great channel. If you want to keep up with all that stimulus stuff, is Meet Kevin. I watch his channel quite a bit, and he seems to be, on it when it comes to all the stimulus talks and stuff like that. So going over last week's watch list on here, we had Pfizer, Moderna, American company, VRCA, which is Verica Pharmaceuticals. Then there was EVGN, GRTS, SRNE, VVPR, and DVAX. So I'll be going over those first, and then some more picks for this coming week. So first, we're going to go over Pfizer. Pfizer, still had some good things going on in the news for them. They're still doing the vaccine rollout. They ended the week at 37.27. After hours went to 37.23. So still going to be looking for them next week, even though VWAP went down below the moving average 10 line, which to me denotes that it could potentially have a bearish downtrend, and it's still being bearish at the same time. Hopefully some more news will come out about their vaccine rollout, and how many people are going to be, or how many doses are going to be going out, and it'll pop back up once that happens. Next, we have ticker sign mRNA for Moderna. They are bearish as well, denoted by moving average 10 line being below both those metrics, 150, which is purple and yellow. VWAP's also below moving average 10, so I would say it's still on a bearish downtrend at the current moment. Then we have MRK. MRK is coming off some positive news from last week, saying that they had their vaccine, which was I think it was the MRK 7111. I think that's what the dose name was, but it's just to treat the symptoms of COVID and all the stuff going on with the symptoms of that. So they're beginning expansion and rollout of that, part of Operation Warp Speed. So they kind of have their own thing. Initially, I thought that they were going to be distributor of the Pfizer vaccine, but I think they're doing their own thing vaccine-wise. So going to be looking at for more news of that with their rollout. I think it kind of was, not over or not really publicized because of the holidays. So I haven't really seen anything on CNBC or other news or financial news outlets about the stuff going on. So that may be a positive note for the company as a whole to see that they're not completely politicized in the news. That maybe you could still get in for some cheap options on that one. Next, we have ticker sign VRCA, which is also on the watch list. They went up to 13.54 last week, so I hope everybody was able to lock in, some profits on that run up. If we see right here, starting out around Monday, even though this watch list came out on the 24th, so let's start on the 24th. So the 24th one, they had a run up, and they went up to this 13.54 level. So overall, still pretty bullish. They're bullish in my opinion, still, and I think they still have potential to be bullish even next week because this moving average 10 line is above the moving average 50 and 100 on the 30-minute chart, and the VWAP is still above the moving average 10. So I'm going to be looking at them tomorrow for some potential movement. Not expecting, anything too drastic, but if they do touch this 13.54 level again tomorrow, then I can say, they definitely have the potential to go up even further from that. Next, we have ticker sign EVGN. which last week touched $5.39. They started going down a little bit after that, went sideways, but they did end on a positive note. So they did end 13 cents above the close to end at $4.54. So we're going to be looking at them when Monday comes. They are bullish, but the VWAP is below the moving average 10. So there may be a little more downward momentum coming from this, even though it is still bullish. So one of the indicators hits, but the other indicator doesn't. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for this one, but not really expecting it to be an early morning mover. Potentially, if volume increases, which is VWAP, then I can see it could potentially start to go back up. Next, we have ticker sign GRTS, which is bullish. We see on here they went up to $4.40. Then after hours went to $4.22, and then ended 22 cents lower to end at $4 even. Overall, still bullish. VWAP is also above moving average 10 line on here, so that's a good sign, even though it's barely above it. Purple line, which is moving average 50, and the yellow line, which is moving average 100. Is still below the moving average 10 line, which is red line. So overall, still bullish. Both indicators are a hit on that one. So I hope you guys are able to lock in some profits on these. I hope the watch list is helping everybody out there. Just give the video a thumbs up or drop a comment and be like, yeah, I'm able to lock in profits, because I really hope that these are helping everybody out there. Next, we have ticker sign SRNE for Sorrento Therapeutics. They did touch $8.88 last week, and then kind of went sideways after that. VWAP went down below the moving average 10, and that's kind of when this downtrend started to begin. So if we see on here, they are bullish on one indicator with the moving average 10, but not with the VWAP being above moving average 10. So I will look for them to continue to run sideways next week, but hopefully they'll go back up to this 888 number, especially considering they ended on a positive note. So even if it's just 1 cent positive in the green, to me I would say that's still potential for them to go up in the morning. So going to be looking at them on Monday for a potential run up. Not a significant one. Just once this moving average 10, once this VWAP crosses this moving average 10 threshold, then I'll get my confirmation that it is a bullish breakout. Next, we have ticker sign VVPR. They did touch $11.36 last week. Kind of ran sideways, went down a little bit after trading. So they went down. They touched this level right here of 872. But seemed to bounce back up. So the bounce to me was pretty good. Went back to this level of 1026, which I think is a very healthy level for them to run. And then it seems like they're just continue to go sideways from here. After hours, they did go down 23 cents to end at 984, but overall still bullish because the 984 is above this $8.38 level. So going to be looking at them tomorrow. Not expecting anything too drastic from them, even though they did have some news that came out from them. I'm going to go back on the news part of here. So for VVPR, they proposed $250 million distributed agreement with Timbo Electric Vehicles. So, they still have news coming from them, but overall, not going to be looking for any dramatic run-ups from them. Last, it's on the list on here from the previous one, we have ticker sign DVAX, and that is for Dynavax Technologies. They did touch $5.63, so they went up to $5.63. Overall, first indicator hit, which is the moving average 10 being above moving average 50 and 100. Second indicator miss, being the VWAP is below the moving average 10 line. They did end on a positive note, going up 2 more cents, so I will look for them next week, especially considering what's going on with here. It says the Institute of India and the company first participates dosed in phase 1 out of 2 clinical trial for a COVID vaccine. So they're basically the COVID vaccine company in India. So that's going to be huge news if that's passed by the Indian government. So definitely keeping my eyes out on them, because I think $5 is a very low metric for them, especially if they get something passed in India. So, a lot of I guess the U.S. has been kind of in the spotlight for vaccines, but you got to realize these other countries, are going to be going to be needing vaccines as well, and some countries are going to sole source them, meaning that they're just going to use the companies that they currently have to make the vaccine. They're not going to rely on the U.S. to do so. For them, they're going to do it all in-house. So I think this DVAX company will definitely be one to keep your eyes out on for the future, especially if they get into that phase 3 trial of their vaccine trial. So next we'll talk about Blink Charging. I think Blink is a fantastic company. Last week they touched $53.95. I think it's a bullish company all the way around. They're continuing to expand all the things they're doing, the amount of charge stations that they have. I still to this day think that they should partner with AutoZone. I think it'd be fantastic. A great move for them, a great move for AutoZone to show, hey, we're supporting EVs and AutoZone or Napa or O'Reilly or any used car parts company. If they just put like 2 charging stations there, I think it'll be a fantastic addition to those companies and bringing in tons of customers and innovating for the future. I know all those companies, all those locations have the capability to do that, but it's just something that the company themselves have to do. So you got to run it through O'Reilly's board, you got to run it through AutoZone's board, Advanced Auto's board, Napa's board, but all of them I think have the capital to do so. It's just reaching out to a company like Blink to do so, and for that partnership to begin. Then also you have to think you have companies like Tesla, which has their own charging stations as well, which may be a more advantageous option, but I think it'll be a lot pricier than using a company like Blink. And you also have ChargePoint, which is going public here pretty soon, which is going to be looking to have more charge stations throughout the United States. So they're not a lack of companies as far as charging is concerned. I think Blink, ChargePoint, which is going to be public, and Tesla are going to be like one of the 3 main ones as far as charging, public charging is concerned. So I'll definitely keep my eyes out on those. Next, we have Tesla itself. Now, Tesla did touch $666.09 last week. It was a short trading week, so just bear that in mind. They did end at $661.77. After ours went to $659.95. I have them on the list because I've been hearing a lot of different rumors about, how they shut down their factory, for the holiday break. I think it's not open until next week. So not this week coming up, but the week after. And they're supposedly there are rumors of the Model S being redesigned. So I think that's huge news for the company, especially considering they have the Model S Plaid coming out. I think that'll be huge as far as design is concerned, and kind of like, giving Apple the finger, in my opinion, because Apple, as we know, last week released that they're going to be making EV vehicles rolling out around 2024. So that kind of like shot Apple up really high stock wise. But I think, realistically, Tesla is the leader of EV companies out there, I guess, globally. So there has to be some sort of conversation that has to be had between Apple and Tesla. I think whenever that article is released, Tesla's going to go to the moon yet again, because it's like one of the 2 major companies in the S&P 500, in my opinion, trading wise, going up. So, definitely going to be looking for some rumors of that news. Now, would it happen next week, or would it happen the week after, or next month? Who knows when that happened or if that will happen. But I think it makes logical sense for that to happen, especially going into the new year, starting off the new year fresh with the proposed or proposal of how they're going to be working together to try to come up with some concept for this vehicle that Apple's going to be producing. Next, we have NIO, which is the automaker in China. They are bearish at the time of this video, noted by moving average 10 line being below the moving average 50 line. So even though it's above the moving average 100 line, I would still say it's bearish. VWAP is also below moving average 10, so it's still bearish as well. It did end on a positive note, but this is one of those kind of special case stocks, in my opinion, because volume on this one fluctuates so much day to day. I feel like a lot of people day trade this one. I've seen a lot of different YouTube channels like Trading Fraternity and all these different trading, uh, you know, live trading groups talk about day trading Neo, and they're huge hedge funds and stuff like that that trade Neo daily. So for it to be down for a certain amount of time, it's not really a big thing for me in my book. I still think it has potential to continue to go up. Next on here we have INO, which INO hit $11.03 last week, but it was based off of the news that they have a new drug called their INO 4800 that is going to be released. That's going to help with the pandemic. It's going to help with symptoms similar to the company MRK stock from the previous week. So INO had a release of their COVID. It's not really vaccine. It's kind of, the way it's worded is really weird. So it's like a vaccine but therapeutic. So it helps with the symptoms and geared towards those with severe to critical symptoms of COVID. So they're beginning their rollout of that. It's called the INO 4800. And they're expected to, use, again, Operation Warp Speed to help do that. So I think they just got the phase 1 clinical trial data released, which it went under like a review from a different company, and the results were positive. Some of the news that they came about this vaccine that I think was better than the other ones is that it has a 5-year shelf life, and it doesn't have to be stored in extremely cold temperatures, which I think will help with actual distribution of this vaccine throughout the U.S. and abroad. So that's one of the problems that the Pfizer one had, is that they'd be stored in extremely cold temperatures. There was a small time interval where you could use it, where it could, it was sitting out, but you could use it. So there a whole bunch of complications came with that one. But I think with this INO one, it'll be a lot better. Especially if it has a 5-year shelf life. So it may not be like the number one pick out there. I think Moderna and Pfizer are still going to be the number 1 and number 2 pick. But I think if we have another option that has a better shelf life, it makes more economical sense, because you have to order less, and you have to worry less about shipping as well, since it doesn't have to be stored in extremely cold temperatures. So next we have Zendesk, the tongue twister, Zendesk, ticker sign ZEN. So they touched 144.56 last week. They are bullish, denoted by the moving average 10 being above moving average 50 and 100. VWAP is over the moving average 10 line, so both indicators met on that one. Going to be looking at this one for a potential move upward. I think it's just been going upward for quite a while now. I think it's doing pretty good. I'll, on the watch list, put some more information on them on my analysis for my catalyst for them moving forward. But I think, definitely going to be one to keep your eyes out on as time goes on. So next we have Palantir, one of the most talked about stocks out there. Just like Neo, in my opinion, this one is one that's traded heavily every single day the market opens. So the market opens, it shoots up and runs sideways. So, you could take advantage of that volatility basically every day if you wanted to. So I think Palantir is definitely want to keep on my radar just for an easy, quick trade, especially with options is concerned. They have a lot of things going on, so for a long-term hold, I think it's a fantastic company. There are tons of things that the company is doing, tons of different contracts under their belt, and I think moving forward, Palantir is going to be one of those companies that's going to be a great long-term hold. So I think they have a bullish future ahead of them, as long as people stop, day trading them or shorting them for a quick buck, which I just advise you all to do. But I'm not, going back on my word. I think it's still, if you want to hold it for a long term or if you want to day trade it, be my guest. But I think overall, looking at the financials as well as looking at the press releases of all the companies that they're working with, it'll definitely be a good one to keep on your watch list as time goes on. Next, we have ticker sign GEVO, which hit $4.25 last week. They ended the week at $3.70. After hours went up 7 more cents to end at $3.77. They are bullish, denoted by moving average 10 line being above moving average 50 and 100. And the VWAP is above the moving average 10 line. So even though they took this dip last week to go down here, I would say it's still overall pretty good stock. Going to keep my eyes out on them, especially considering VWAP is so high to end the week. So it was a short trading week. So I think, this may not have gone down. I think people just took profits because it was a short trading week. So the fact that on, I guess this was Wednesday or Tuesday, it went up, and then Wednesday it was really high. I think people just took profits, but I think they still have potential to go back up for next week. So I'm going to keep my eye on them for next week. Next, we have ticker sign MFIN for Medallion Financial. I think that's what it is. They touched $5.38. They had a really big bullish run up last week to hit this 538, and then it kind of just went sideways from them. They haven't, their moving average 10 line hasn't crossed the moving average 100 yet. It did cross the moving average 50, so only one of the indicators on here is hit, which is a VWAP being above moving average 10. When it gets to this level and opens on Monday, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one to see what level it gets to. If it looks like it's going to break through this moving average 10 line, then that'll be one of my confirmation levels. But if VWAP immediately crosses this moving average 10 line and starts to go down, then I would, kind of shy away from this one because overall it may go back down. So definitely going to be looking at this one to see if it hits this first indicator, which moving average 10 going above moving average 100, then hit the second indicator of moving average or VWAP continuing to be above this moving average 10 line. Then I would say, okay, yeah, it's on a bullish run up. Next, we have ticker sign AVCT for American Virtual Cloud Technologies. Now, if you know the whole cloud space, cloud niche, I guess you could say, is red hot at the current moment, in my opinion. Cloud services and cloud computing is just, the market, in my opinion, is just as hot as the EV space, and I think it will continue to be as time goes on. So, any cloud name out there that you know of, I think is just going to continue to go up. I've had CrowdStrike on here for, I think it was last week, was one of the stocks on here. It was also in the cloud space. So I think this company definitely has potential to continue to go up. They ended at $6.87. Last week they touched $7.65. But going to be looking at them for next week for a potential run up. Both indicators are hit, so moving average 10 above 50 and 100, and the VWAP is above moving average 10. So positive notes on both of those indicators, and going to be looking at them for next week. Next, we have ticker sign CLRB. They are bearish, noted by the moving average 10 line being above moving average 50 and 100. But if you look at them, I feel like they had an oversold pattern. So oversold basically means that some article came out, some news came out that made the stock go down, which showed weakness in the stock. So if you see right here, they fell off, dramatically. It was a pretty fast fall off from around this 295 region, came all the way down to 180. So overall, I think it's pretty oversold. And I think it can continue to go up and hit these levels yet again. You could take advantage of that when it goes back up from that oversold reaction. So, the indicators on here, only one of them is hit. Moving average 10 is above moving average. The VWAP is above moving average 10, but moving average 10 is still below the 50 and 100. So only one of the indicators is positive on here, but if we see they set up pretty nicely for a run up for tomorrow morning. Next on here we have ticker sign DMAC. They did touch $9.90 last week. They ended on a positive note. They went up to 9.64 is where they ended. Overall, still bullish. Moving average 10 is above moving average 50 and 100. This bullish run up has been going on for quite some time now. So if we look around December 16th, Yeah, around December 16th time frame, they've been on a constant bullish run up. I think that run up's going to continue to go on. So I would just say keep an eye out on them as time goes on. Next, we have ticker sign TAC for Transatlantica. They touched $7.50 last week, and it was a short week, so I think they have some more run-up potential from them as well. If we see moving average 10 line above 50 and 100, and VWAP is definitely significantly higher than moving average 10. So both indicators are hit on them as well, and I'll post some more information about them when I release the watch list for tomorrow. So going to the last one on here, we have ticker sign AIM, and that is for AIM Immunotechnology Incorporated. This stock's kind of all over the place in my opinion. So it went down, pretty fast, then shot all the way back up to be at 220, and then kind of went back down to this level, which is around 202, and then tried to go back up. So it's everywhere, but if we see it falls down, it shoots up dramatically, then it falls back down. I think on Monday we can see the potential shoot back up portion of it again. One of the indicators is hit, VWAP is above moving average 10. And if you want to count it on here, you could say that both indicators are hit. Moving average 10 is above the moving average 50. So if we look at the moving average 10, it is at 205, and moving average 100 is at 204. So it is 1 cent above the other metric. So make sure you keep that one on your watch list as well. I'll release the watch list after we get done with this video. But those are the stocks for this week. Hope everybody is able to lock in some profits this week. Make sure you drop a comment in this video or drop a comment in the Patreon. Some of you guys are able to execute, some profits. That's the whole goal, to execute some profits. Make sure you drop some comments if you have any questions. There's something you want to know. If I can try to answer it, I'll try to answer it for you all. But overall, hopefully you all can lock in some profits from this. That's the whole goal. And I'll try to, tell you which ones I jump in and, how I executed on them as well. So good luck to everybody at trading this week, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.